All right, ladies and gerbils, welcome back to the multiverse. So, not a whole heck of a lot going on here. Um, we can see that we have an eastward expansion happening here. Um, I do know that Jack Dillon early on hit against some difficulties, um, attacking into some forts. And that kind of halted him just a little bit. I think something similar happened down here with the Power of Us here. Um, I will say one of the things I've been having luck with here, because I haven't had any artillery either, but one of the things I've been having luck with is sending those groups of 5. Maximizing your attacks does seem to be effective against those bunkers. But, at the same time, there is this delicate balance in this game, because I was able to break through and take over a country, and then break through and take over another AI, break through and take over another country. And by that time, I was almost out of troops. But here's the crazy thing about this game is that by then I had like 3 countries worth, 3.5 countries worth of area, right, of territories that are generating troops every round. And that's how you replenish. So if you get knocked back early on, it's very, very difficult, because you might only have 2 countries worth of territories generating or something like that. So I do sympathize with anybody who gets knocked back early on. That's happened to me many a time. And so just hang in there, guys, especially once we get our cannon. I do have, just to give you guys an update, I have 5 cannon that are on their way. Only 3 days to go. And hopefully not exactly, because after a couple days, I will have the factory built, and that'll shorten this just a little bit. But I just now was able to get enough resources to start my level 2 factories. So I have 5 level 2 factories building and 5 cannon building. And then my 2 most recent doubles down here are both building level 1 factories. But these were great to get. These were wheat. I really needed that. If you can see right now, I was very close to being zeroed out here. Everything else feels pretty good down here. My energy is dialed to the oil, of course, as is pretty typical early in your industrial development. And my building resources are balanced out pretty well. You can see they're almost completely gone, because I've been horse trading up here to get all those level 2 factories started. So I got 5 level 2 factories going. And again, that's the name of the game, man. Just get that industry just rolling. A lot of people go ahead and get their railways afterwards, but I figure between day 5, when you can start to build a railway, and day 8, when you can build your first factory, that gives you exactly enough time to build a railway. So I try to sneak in railways early on, and that gives you that plus 33%. So that's why 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of my doubles, 6 of my doubles have railway already. And then down here, I got this one late in the game. So I'm going ahead and getting that level 1 factory, and I'll probably get my level 2 factory, and then a railway. It just depends, because I do have 6 other functional factories at this time. 6 factories might be enough to keep my resources busy. If so, then I can afford to build the railway here to beef up those resources. Again, remember, my equilibrium point is always have every factory churning out stuff, have every territory building stuff and churning stuff out. So arguably, I should probably be building an armored car over here. The thing is, though, I don't want to build an armored car because it competes directly with artillery. And I'm really wanting to pump out the artillery for our push eastward here. Have 5 in the makes. 2 more are going to start soon as these level 1 factories finish out. So I should have 7 infantry on the map, hopefully within the next 4 days. And then after that, it's just, 7 more, 7 more, 7 more. Just keep them coming. So my metric is always, you should always have very few resources up here, very little silver. If you have huge reserves of anything, then in my opinion, you should sell it and up your production. And so if you're doing this right, you should have all of your factories building, all of your territories building useful stuff, right? So in this case, level 2 factories building here. And as long as you got, in other words, both of these boxes filled on all of your industrial zones, then you're doing the right thing. You're doing good. And so, again, when I decide whether or not to build a level 2 factory here or a railway, I'll reanalyze that, because that's going to be the difference between building faster cannon, which is important, and building higher resources, which is also important. So, of course, the factory gives you plus 8% per level, and the railway gives you plus 33%. So a pretty big difference. So whichever way you go, level 2 factory is one direction, which is better production, faster production. And the railway is the other direction, which is better resources, faster resources. So everyone has to make that decision on their own. All right, things are going pretty well here. Just wanted to highlight what's going on here elsewhere. We do have a northern, let's just go ahead and take a look at these various verses here. We are in the top, here we go. Top 4 here are from our game. The Universe is in first place, the Saharaverse, the Transverse, and the NOAP Midverse. I will say that the Saharaverse and the NOAP Midverse are pretty much openly working together, which makes them the equal of the #1 coalition right now together. And as long as they continue to cooperatively play like that, they will probably continue to be tied with or ahead of the first place coalition. Over here in the coalition land, we can see that our top 3 are full rosters. And that's good news, because once you have a stabilized roster, you can really start to work together. NOAP here still has 2 slots available. That's good news for them as well, because that allows them the potential to jump ahead into third or even second place almost instantaneously, right? Just by getting, especially 2 people at this phase of the game, they could easily leap into second place with no problem. However, they are still continuing to hold off. Down here, we do still have the North America verse, who's pretty far down the list, but again, because they still lack 3 members. So they're almost at half strength right now. They're just a little bit above half strength. So eventually, hopefully, we will get more players. This is something that Papa Smitty mentioned to me. He's like, are there fewer players? And I think initially there were fewer players, but it's starting to populate pretty well. One of the things I do look at is not coalitions, dang it. I look at diplomacy here. And you go to diplomacy, you click on your AI, and other way, here we go. And you start to kind of look for the little plus signs. So this is good. Actually, I need to go in there and change a lot of these right-of-ways to improve my overall popularity. But okay, it looks like this game may have closed out. I don't know. This is a lot of guys, though, that I need to be giving right-of-way. These are all AI. So the thing is, if a game has not yet completely closed out, instead of seeing little computer screens, you'll see a little plus sign. And then here we are to people. So the little plus sign is an invite button. So you can click on it and use it to invite people. So this game, I think, may be officially closed. This game may be at its max. And what I need to do as soon as I get off here is go back there and start to popularity farm just a little bit. Speaking of which, I feel like my popularity is pretty good. Yeah, 63%. It's not bad. It's part of what that 63 popularity is part of what's allowing me to push on past some of these AI territories and not feel so threatened or weird about keeping borders there. So for one thing here, I have not attacked into these 4 because I was specifically reserving them for Pito Charentes, my ally over here, who's been Zinzin, who's been marching east with me. So Zinzin, if you're watching, this is yours as far as I'm concerned, man. I can still attack directly east here. We've been doing a pretty good job of attacking side by side here without getting in each other's way. I will say this for Zinzin too. Big respect. We've been attacking these countries. And so this first country, I attacked most of it, but he ended up taking the capital because the capital was on the border or maybe one of these 2 states. And he sent me over 2/3 of the money. He's like, you did most of the conquering, so I'm going to send you 80,000 of the 12,000 that I took. And I was like, that's pretty straight up cool, man. Like, thank you for that. So 80,000 of the 120,000, by the way, not 12. So that was cool. And then same thing ended up happening over here. He just kind of by just the way things happen, he ended up taking the capital over here that of this country you've both been conquering into, and he sent me half the silver. So that's the kind of play I'm talking about. That's the kind of honorable and respectful and brotherly play that I love to see. So thanks, Zinzin. I appreciate that, man. That's you're a stand-up guy. There's no question about it. So all right, that's about it. I cannot speak deeply to the other players, but what I will say is that we now have. Let me just. This is worth going to another place to look. We do now have actively. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. No app. We have Jathan, who is actively casting this very game. So as of now, that's available for anyone to see. But certainly Jathan could choose to do casts only amidst his own group on a different server or something. But if you're looking for another perspective, this is a cool way to check that out. Also, The Power of Us. If you're not already a subscriber of The Power of Us, probably be a good idea to come on up and check out The Power of Us, because The Power of Us is also casting this. So I love the idea of having multiple perspectives. There's my perspective, but that's not even kind of the only perspective. So especially the idea that Jathan is casting what's going on in NoApp is really cool. So again, be sure to check that out. There's cool stuff going on. If you're not here in our Discord, then go ahead and come on over. I'm going to go ahead and put this link in. Yeah, I'm going to put this link in our. How weird. In the description below. So check it out if you need to. This is where we kind of touch base and make sure that we've got everything planned out and figured out as good as we can. Okay, so that's it, guys. Thanks for checking in. I did want to say Happy Father's Day to any fathers out there. If you're in touch with your father, give him a call. Tell him thanks, Dad. That's about it. Thanks for checking in, guys. Adios, mi padres.